recording. Jeff, are we rich and famous yet?
I don't know, man. I was just thinking about how to spend my internet bucks. What about you?
I have no internet bucks.
Your millions of internet
My
bucks.
millions of internet dollar dues, thanks to our podcast here.
Correct. And the respect that comes with it from our peers. We each have an individual stable of hoes.
Yeah, the
that we have
guest
to fight off with
speakers
the
who are
sticks.
beating
Yes.
down our doors.
That's right.
Yeah.
We were going to have God, what's his name? The guy that you like. Colored fellow. Older man.
Morgan Freeman? I don't know.
No, not him. Intellectual type.
Considering though, like our stable of guest speakers consists of like 3 other people.
That's true.
Yeah, he's not in that.
Yeah.
Whoever you're thinking of.
Why can't I remember his name?
What does he do?
He's run for president.
Oh, Cornel West.
Yeah.
Yeah, I voted for him.
Right.
Yeah. Fuck yeah.
He was supposed to be on tonight's show, but
Oh yeah. Well, I guess he was busy.
but I mean, you know, we may have overbooked.
Yeah, we're completely jammed.
So
In
if
6 months.
exactly, if you look over to your right, you'll see Tom Segura is here, as well as
Bill Burr. Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
And Dave Chappelle is in the green room.
That's correct.
Yeah.
So
Right, yeah. All right, so episode 300. Yeah.
it's just me and Pat, dude. That's
Well, and dog.
yeah, but she doesn't. I mean, she's not really allowed near the mic.
She's on
Recently.
SoundCloud, man. Yeah.
But she has said some very offensive things in the past. So,
Yeah, they've all been bleeped out. Yeah.
like, I don't know where she gets this from. Like this morning, like, and she woke me up with this. Like, she's standing right over my face, and she says specifically, "Okay, maybe it happened, but it wasn't 6 million." I'm like, where do you come up with this shit, dog?
She got her own fucking Telegram account. Yeah.
Like, you have to wake me up with this shit. Huh? You couldn't,
Right, yeah, exactly.
this couldn't wait.
It's
All
like,
right.
this number might not be accurate.
And she came at me with some fucking like formulas. She's like, "All right, so,
Right.
so here I'm gonna break down the math for you, boy. So this is this, and this does not melt steel beams."
Or make German shells. Yeah. Yeah. Well, dog, you do you.
I mean, it's cool. I mean, she has her own thoughts. I respect that, but I mean, it's just sometimes it's like,
Do the reading.
because I know what Porsche used to make. Okay, all right.
Yeah.
Okay.
Exactly.
You don't have to tell me that. I know. I know.
I know where tiger tanks came from. Yeah.
Right. What you been up to today, man?
I don't know, like calculating the attack failure of tiger tanks.
It has a lot to do with terrain, doesn't it?
And whether or not the other population is armed.
Extremely efficient when they aren't, but
Well, yeah, then it's ammo capacity.
right.
Right, yeah.
Sometimes they'll fight you on horses.
Yeah, okay.
That happened once.
Maybe twice.
Yeah.
Yeah. No, man, I've just been watching our president, like, just freaking sign shit off all day.
I don't even think he's looking anymore.
I don't think so either.
Yeah.
Yeah. So, whatever. So the entire higher education world is concerned about student loans now.
Are they?
Yeah.
What's the grievance?
Got Pell Grants and all that stuff.
It's being reviewed, correct? Not.
And that's what I was telling guys over at the yacht club tonight, man. I mean, he rescinded it like 4 hours ago. Everybody's freaking over like all kinds of stuff. And it's like, chill out. So he's definitely got like the ball and spaghetti theory going on here.
Yes.
Yeah.
I mean, my presumption on this is I imagine that a lot of these things are going to be contested, where people will say your office does not have the authority to do this.
Right.
And,
but I guess my point today was, so he's made some pretty substantial changes in the federal code just on like executive orders that have much farther reaching. Like, think about this. Like, the last time we podcast, we were talking about like, birthright citizenship.
yeah.
And that's like, whatever. That's like 18 miles ago now. Yeah.
This shit moves fast.
Way fast.
Yeah.
Yeah. So, I don't know, man. He's just flooding the zone. So,
To me, I mean, that's sort of the nature of the deal. I think that's sort of what his strategy is here is you're going to have to pick and choose your battles about what things to contest.
correct.
Now,
So if I contest everything, you guys are going to have to pick your battles.
Correct.
Right.
Correct. So if I throw everything out there, you guys have to make tough decisions, like how hard are you going to fight my people in Congress? Well, not in Congress, but my appointees.
I didn't watch any of the stuff today yet. Did you
caught
watch
the
any
greatest
of
hits version of it.
that? Okay.
Yeah.
How did RFKJ stand up? Good or like loony?
That's the thing. Is some of it? It's always the same. It's the same problem I've had from day one. It's that magic show of it's like you ever seen? I know you had a relative that used to be like a professional magician, right?
Uh-huh.
Okay.
Yeah.
There's a branch of magician out there, and I don't know if you've seen this.
A particular species?
More often than not, women, but the branch of magic is about doing like 25 wardrobe changes. Like,
Oh.
do you know what I'm talking
Yeah,
about?
yeah.
Okay. And it's super cool. I'm going to tell you the truth. I have no idea how it's done. I'm never going to know how it's done because I don't want to know, right? It's just something that's so cool where, they just walk and like they dump feathers on it. She's wearing a different dress, whatever. Right. And that is the seamless change is what the problem is. That's where RFK Jr. comes in here because he goes straight from like, that makes sense. That makes sense. That makes sense. The motherfucker said, what? And it's... And you're watching, it just goes from dress to dress to dress, and then
Wait a minute.
like
Olive oil cures cancer? What?
because the only part. So here's the weird thing: is it doesn't. He gets into a great exchange with Bernie Sanders, right? And this is
really
yeah, and this is something I actually like. Is Sanders actually gets to a point? He says like, our time was that I would love to talk with you for an hour. About this, but we don't have that kind of time. Okay. And so he gets him on this point of these, you'll see this trending on Twitter, onesies, right? About whatever dumb organization he used to be with, had...
Who, RFKJ?
Yeah. Okay. Had these onesies on sale on their website that were basically like unvaccinated and okay, right? And so...
yeah, okay.
Right. This is the kind of stuff that distance yourself from this. Right now, he said like, he's like, could you do you still support this? And RFK says like, well, I haven't been part of that company. I haven't been on their board of directors for 2 years, so I'm divested from this. He's like, but do you disagree with it? Right? It's like, are you an anti-vaxxer? And he doesn't give him a straight answer.
Oh, okay.
And so this was the kind of stuff that again, just I know you're sort of like holding on to that, and I know that that's part of like the big crowd that's with you, and I don't know where you really stand on this, to be completely honest. But I mean, there's
Is he just like stringing together narratives?
there's this big component where he throws out the major crux of things, where he says, "All right, so look, I'm gonna break down. Let me break down what's going on with kids right now." He's like, I think it was 6% of American children are morbidly obese. Okay.
Okay, I want to come back to that in a few minutes.
Not a
So,
problem.
yeah.
And to the tune of, I think it was, I can't remember if it was 40 or 60, but it was a huge number that qualified as overweight or obese, right?
Okay, yeah, that
And
tracks.
under the same token, he points out the same things, where he says, like, and these are the rising levels we see of autism. These are the rising levels that we see of food allergies, this, and this.
Food allergies, particular, yeah.
And so that being said, he does sort of like touch on the, like, somebody, I can't remember who it was, asked him straight up, it's like, "Are you a conspiracy theorist?" He's like, "Look, that's a pejorative term they throw at me when I start asking difficult questions. Look, I was a conspiracy theorist when I said that COVID does not prevent transmission of the disease, but everybody agrees to that now, right?" And he's just kind of breaking these down,
Okay,
like,
alright.
one by one. That's when I'm like, you're absolutely crushing it, but there are certain things where they say, like, "Are you an anti-vaxxer?" Just say no.
Okay.
Just say
yeah,
no,
Yeah, just
right?
say no.
But that's the thing, is he goes into this long, it's just like, just say no on this one, man. Like,
Yeah, so like today, like I was only like obliquely checking some of the stuff out.
yeah,
But then I saw like your lamestream media
indeed.
kind of barfing out like certain things about like there's an uprising of tuberculosis in Oklahoma.
Right, right. I saw that.
Yeah, yeah, okay. All right. And things like that. And it just seemed like really, really weak sauce. You
It's
know,
picayune shit. Yeah,
exactly.
it is.
Yeah, but I mean, think about that. So, like, when RFKJ went on Rogan, and I watched the entire thing, he has this thing where he's like bordering on, okay, that makes sense, that makes sense, that makes sense, and all of a sudden he says something that's like, no,
Exactly.
yeah,
That's what I'm
okay,
saying.
yeah.
And it goes right from it to one thing to another. What the hell is that?
Your battery is running low.
Oh, is the the thing is
Is it?
on.
Is it not? Like, anyway.
No, the cord was loose.
Okay, it's plugged in now.
Okay. Thank you.
We don't want to lose episode 300 here.
No, this is one for the ages.
What
This
ages?
is, this is the one that gets you paid.
So no, I haven't had time to go like watch his entire thing because I just got off work a little bit a while ago. So, but I was trying to check in with it on Twitter. Twitter is a shit show right now with this entire thing. So
There's not really an honest assessment right now. It's way too
dude, like this morning, it was full of his stands and Bernie stands. Yeah, just like, I mean, it's like Titans fighting it out, and like, well, wherever you were before this, that's who you're gonna root for.
right.
Right. Okay.
Right. And it's he raises a great point, and he said, he's like, "Look, you guys were all aside, right beside me for a long time, right? The guys that are fighting me are the ones that stood shoulder to shoulder with me on environmental issues and all this other stuff. But unfortunately, I'm attached to this, it's like there's this lightning rod named Trump, and because you're attached to it, you have to oppose it. You don't have to do that, right?"
But they're going to.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Which is silly. And I mean, the reason, I
So this was his committee meeting or his confirmation?
believe it's his confirmation hearing.
Okay.
And the thing on this,
I wasn't sure if he had made it a committee. So,
I thought he did, but we'll see. I'll double check. But
yeah, I don't know either.
The thing about this that gets me is the reason that you want him and you shouldn't want him are sides of the same coin if you look at it objectively. There's enough of a person there who's enough of a lunatic to give him the energy to affect real change, right?
Okay.
That doesn't always mean positive, and it doesn't always mean negative.
But it is change.
But it is
Change
change.
is the constant, not the variable.
And I would argue that if you look at the results of what American health has been like, over the past 2 decades or so, you should not be doing exactly what you've been doing.
Right.
I would make that argument.
Okay. No, I'll buy that. So I watched this whole thing. It might have been by that. Who is it? Who's the guy that you and I usually watch? Polymatter?
Yeah, I've watched that.
I think
Yeah.
he might have had a thing about this last couple days.
Did he?
I might be wrong about that. It might be a different guy who's actually talking about like the structure of, like big agriculture now. And everybody from Philip Morris and, the cigarette guys in the 90s migrated over to food.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, but I think it might have been Polymatter. It might have been somebody else.
If it was, I would have. I missed it, and I usually like to watch those. So
I do too, but I usually check up on them a couple weeks after they drop. Might have been something like that, but like the thing that I think that a lot of people discount about like our food system and stuff like that is like they don't put that shit in there just to make it taste better and addict you to it. It's because it has a longer shelf life.
generally speaking, yes.
Yeah.
I mean, there are certain things that you can argue about food appearance additives or things like that.
Correct. And so, like, you can go to the supermarket, you can get perfectly good oranges, but they have a couple brown spots on them. People don't buy them. Yeah. I'm not quite sure. So, it was an interesting, like, little piece that somebody had done on that. So, where I didn't realize that, like, most of the tobacco lobby had moved over to the food lobby.
And those guys actually have become kind of conglomerated as well. I remember
Correct.
a couple of weeks ago looking for Monsanto just to realize they'd been swallowed up by, I can't remember that.
GE.
Somebody with a healthy chunk of change to throw around. And I remember, here's the thing is, I remember in the late 90s, early 2000s, when these were all seen as the enemy. These were absolutely...
They're still there. Yeah.
Well, so here's the weird thing is...
I remember when General Mills was the bad guy.
What did they do wrong?
They were just enriching your cereal and then putting dyes into your fucking Captain Crunch marshmallows. Or your Crunch Berries. Yeah.
This is a real tough one for me. It's like...
I love those.
Well, I do too. Here's the problem I have with this is... So you're putting crap in crap food, right? It's not as though I'm sitting there looking at... You guys have really fucked up apples, right? You know what I'm saying? Where
arms growing out of them.
Yeah. it doesn't gestate its own fucking ranch, dude. It's
right,
not. So all right. So if I'm looking at something and say like, all right, you have crap food already. Where am I going to draw the line and say like, oh, this is too bad, right?
Right.
Now, that being said, if you're messing up health food and calling it health food, all right, now we have an issue.
That's been going on for decades. So, yeah.
Well, that was the
whole grape nuts thing, and,
I don't know the grape nut store. What did they do?
I don't exactly remember, but I seem to recall that you couldn't quite digest them.
I wouldn't doubt it, man.
Yeah, I know, man. It's like eating rocks.
Well, what are grape nuts?
Concentrated like nut gluten rocks.
Well, aren't they the actual seeds that you get from Like,
No, that's not actually in the cereal. They just called it that.
because they look like those, right?
Correct.
Right,
Yeah.
right.
Yeah.
I just, yeah. So I don't know how people. So all right, I've eaten grape nuts. You've eaten grape nuts.
Sure.
Right?
Yeah.
All right. It's the first cereal I saw where you don't actually like fill the bowl. You.
Yeah, you like add them together like ingredients.
It's like, what are you gonna do for breakfast? It's like a line of grape nuts. It's not. It's not.
It was like more like a formula, like 1 tablespoon of grape nuts and like 1 tablespoon of milk, and then
Oh yeah. But you're never going to. So
and then you gotta shake it, agitate it a little bit.
yeah, leave it sit too. Yeah, you're right.
Yeah.
You gotta cycle it. It's
Yeah, you're gonna set the dryer to cool. Yeah.
it's like washing new jeans with like rocks.
Well, you gotta get them out of there.
Well, I mean, fuck it. It's like how birds eat, right? Where it's like, oh, that's right. You don't have like real teeth.
And I don't have a goiter.
Yeah, so you're eating rocks.
Right.
No, it's bizarre because in comparison, you get the bowl like this big for like Lucky Charms, and you fill it.
Oh yeah, you just
Yeah.
munch it down. Yeah.
Yeah, grape nuts is a dish
Well,
this
alternatives
big.
are
And
much anyway.
yeah.
Yeah. No, I gotcha. I don't know, man. We'll see. I mean, you give them odds on actually getting like confirmed.
So, I have been following the what is it, the polymath? No, it's not polymath. It's the guys that during the election followed the betting.
Oh,
Polymarket.
Polymarket.
Okay.
Yeah.
Polymarket has him at 80% as of today.
I kind of buy that.
It is Gabbard is currently sitting at 49%.
So I'm a little bit worried about Gabbard just because like Hayseth got through. All right, but he was shepherded through the entire process.
There were a couple of people they had to break down,
Yeah.
and they eventually got them, except for
Okay.
one,
Who was that?
Mitch McConnell.
He could, well, and he voted against him, so he could launch a torpedo her way.
I'm certain he will. This is
Oh, no, I think that's guaranteed. So the question is, does he, like, encourage anybody else to do that? And I don't know. I'm a little bit neutral on Tulsi. So, I'm a little bit more positive about the FBI guy. Who is
Josh
that?
Patel.
I think he's going to get through, no problem.
I think so too.
I think he's going to get through, no problem. And quite honestly, I'd rather have like a Trump guy in charge of the FBI, so than all the other intelligence agencies, because the FBI, of course, is like domestic.
Right.
So yeah, I'm not quite sure about Tulsi. We'll have to see.
Well, here's
She
the
might
thing.
clear the
Yeah.
bar.
She might.
Yeah.
She might. Everything that works for her is what works against her.
Correct.
That's her.
Yeah.
That's her issue. The Patel, on the other hand, he got them crazy eyes, and
Well, I think a lot of Republicans recognize that the FBI needs to be reformed.
I certainly agree with you.
I don't know if they feel the same way about the DIA, Defense Intelligence. I mean, Trump already got a CIA guy punched in. So if there's anybody left out there who's like sitting on a knife edge, it's probably Tulsi. So because both Republicans and Democrats can knife her in the back. So,
Correct.
Yeah.
It's that same sense of support on both sides is the same sense of danger from both sides.
Yeah, but even if she doesn't make it, Trump got his AG. He
Yep.
got like his FBI. So Patel's going to make it through the FBI.
I think so.
Yeah. He got Hegseth, so which was a gift. So in some respects,
Well, Vance had to. He had to.
that's what I'm saying. Yeah.
leave vacation to well, it wasn't even vacation.
Well, he was like 20 minutes away. You know?
No, but he was in the middle of something.
He was doing something, but he was like, "Oh, I gotta go put a coat on and go vote." You know. And so,
Yeah, but it was a serious. It wasn't all right. It's not like The Godfather. It's like I'm attending my Godfather's christening.
yeah, exactly.
And fucking
This is the day of my dad's wedding.
yeah. While he goes and cast vote 51, fucking 10 dudes get shot in the eyeball. You know, it's
Buy you out.
yeah. It was
With your eyeballs.
or you have that juxtaposition of like, do you reject Satan and all his ways? I do.
Isn't that the? Oh no, that's the first movie.
Yep.
Yeah. Yeah, I don't know. I kind of have this bad feeling that the legislature is going to kill off at least one of his guys,
I think they have to.
and it might be Tulsi. So,
If I were going to put odds on it, and again, following the odds, that's what it's got. I think it had Patel at like 88%. So, and I got to tell you, that betting thing, it was not wrong.
wasn't.
That's why I'm following it right now, is because it was
but they got her at 49%.
49%.
Okay,
That's virtually a coin flip.
it is. Yeah,
So-
it is. We'll see, man. I mean, even if she gets murdered off, he's got like 95% of his dudes, plugged in. So yeah, border guy is kicking ass. So
He does.
and does not take names.
Well, I think he pauses momentarily to take names. I mean, that's the thing is
Well, he has other people like write down the names. Yeah.
I think he takes names on his cigarette breaks. You know, it's
It's like, let's step outside, Sonny.
you don't get a
You got
voice
that?
like
You got the
his.
pad?
Yeah, you don't get a voice like his without some pyramids in your past, or he might smoke pyramids. Those were
Pyramids?
yeah.
Yeah, he probably does.
I'm thinking of the discount brand that he went with because I know that
Pyramids,
dude.
Dorals, or whatever they were.
I mean, I do not see him as a Newport kind of guy.
Yeah. He's not a Newport kind of guy. Yeah, no. He might even smoke a frickin' Black and Milds.
And think, you know what?
Or Swisher Sweets.
I would have seen a picture with him hanging one of those off his lip.
Oh, it would be
was-
normal.
yeah.
Yeah, you put that up on his profile. Yeah.
I gotta tell you, some of the best pictures they had of Obama were the ones where he had a heater hanging off his lip.
Correct. Yeah.
Well, I understand that he was trying to quit. I'm like, all right, I get it.
You're fucking president.
I'm with you.
I'm
So
gonna put my feet up on this desk.
stop me.
Yeah, right.
dare you.
Yeah,
Yeah.
dare you.
Come
yeah,
do something
yeah.
about
Give
it,
me
yeah.
a fucking ashtray.
Yeah.
Yeah. So no, I don't know. We'll see if Tulsi gets punched through. I mean, I don't know. She probably will because, like, quite honestly, Trump's been throwing every last bit of spaghetti against the wall.
Yeah.
So, and like even today, just a couple hours ago, he's like, "All right, fine. We won't do this like freeze, kind of stuff." That's throwing cold water on their on the like any kind of fight that the Democrats got going on. So it's just like, just don't burn down everything, fucker. So yeah,
That's the weird thing is I think it's hard to strategize when everything comes at you all at once.
so I actually was listening to some guys this morning.
Yeah.
Yeah, and they're just like, hey, man, everybody's getting PTSD out of this because there's so much shit coming at you at the same time. And so everybody's freaked the fuck out, And so obviously some of these things that he's throwing out here, like, okay, birthright citizenship, yeah, is a decent argument, but it needs to be sorted out. And that's going to take a year.
Yeah.
Yeah. And the same thing with, like, all right, we're going to murder off all federal grants. It's like, wait, whoa, what? You know, including like block funding for Medicaid and stuff like that. Is like everybody's like freaking out about this stuff. So, and of course, that's not going to stand up because it's all codified in law.
Yeah.
So, but he's getting quite a few things like punched through, like the federal buyout.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I ain't never heard of some shit like that.
No, that's bananas, but it's completely in his purview to do that. So, you know,
Well, this is
and that's going to shave off about 5 to 10% of your federal workforce, you know, out there. Who the fuck knows, man? That's something that's going to stick. Same thing with like killing off all the DEI stuff. That's going to stick because everybody's going to freak out about something else. I mean, he's like legit showing people like, all right, so if you're going to like reform government,
here's how you do it.
here's how you do it.
Yeah.
Yeah, exactly. So,
Which is
bananas.
Yeah, this is the thing is, so I have there's part of me that says, all right, I've never seen a person so determined to actually, when it comes down, I said I was going to do these things. Shit, dude, it's been less than 2 weeks.
I'm going to do all of them.
I've never seen a single politician so dedicated to actually doing what they said. Now, the problem that I'm having with it is not that he's doing it per se, it's the sheer number of things that are going through, and I'm finding out, wait, what is the check against this?
Correct, yeah.
That's the issue I'm coming across, is like, why is... So number one, the first concern of mine is, all right, so if this is something that you can do and it's uncontested, the next president can undo just as easily, right?
Yeah, but see, like, what I think Trump is doing well here is he's going to stomp over everybody else's toes. But he doesn't have the feet to back it up. So he's just going to try it and see exactly where the resistance points are. So obviously today with the federal grants and, you know, stuff like that. Same thing with like foreign aid. He cut all that off.
Yeah.
Except for Israel and Egypt. And then today he was like, oh no, that doesn't count Ukraine either.
Oh,
So,
really?
Yeah.
Oh,
well, no, because quote unquote, that's military aid. So it's not foreign aid. So, you know. And so he's just going to go around and step on everybody's toes in this party and see who squeals. So, yeah, yeah. See, this is what happens when you give a guy a 4-year fucking break. To think about
I've
it.
been thinking, yeah.
Yeah, and another guy is just like barely keeping the seat warm. So I don't know. We'll see, man. It's crazy. So and the Fed decided not to change rates today. So
Why? I was going to ask you about that.
he just kind of bullied him to it. So I mean, he wants rates lower, but like the whole Chinese AI thing like spooked the markets the last couple days, and so they were like, no, we're not gonna do anything.
There's some.
I have seen some of those things too.
There's
What
some
have you
fuckery.
seen? There is definitely fuckery going on.
Did it stink of fuckery the second that you heard it? All right.
So those are the China guys. I follow them on the Twitter. And
okay.
both of them, as of what is today? Today is Wednesday.
Yes.
As of yesterday, they were like, we smell fuckery as well. So I'm going to give them a day or two to kind of like chew through it and see what's going on with that.
All right.
So, but the whole thing was just like, oh, we can do this on fucking potato computers. And it's like, really? Can you really do that?
All right.
So
what did you hear about that?
Well, not that much, other than the fact that they basically copy pasted like all kinds of shit from ChatGPT. Okay, all right, you gotta fill me in.
So this is my understanding of this at this point.
Okay.
This is what the ChatGPT people are saying.
Okay.
Okay. Now, take it with a grain of salt. They're going to have to find something to prove.
It's early. Yeah.
Okay. But what they're saying basically is their stuff can do it on a potato, right? Because what they're doing is basically piggybacking on other AI servers.
That are not blocked by the CCP.
Correct.
Got it.
So what they're doing is, well, of course I can do this as fast as you on less hardware because I'm using your hardware to do it.
And it's already fucking open source, right?
I believe so.
Yeah, okay.
I believe so. And that's the issue, is because the argument would then be, where are you getting your computational power to do this?
Correct.
Well, in a very Michael Jackson kind of way, it's like, I'm going to use your computational power.
I'm gonna buy your songs.
And so what they said that they were doing was, they said, I can't remember the term they used. It was clear what it meant. It wasn't fuckery, but it was something along those lines of it made it clear where it's like, oh, you're straight up like, the term that we would use would be gravy training.
Yeah, okay.
Where it's like, you're using their computers to do it. Of course you can do this, right?
Okay.
So if you basically just put a shell on something like this and say like, okay, well, this is China AI. It's like,
Right, kind of if you build a new airframe over an F-35 and call it our new stealth fighter.
right,
Right.
right. That's what they're saying is the source of this, because the idea of being able to get that much computational power out of so much less
Right.
is impossible. That's what they're saying.
So I've heard that too, but I've also heard a couple guys saying like, well, if they actually figured out how to optimize this, that's pretty awesome.
Sure.
Okay, but it's all open source. So, okay, fine. I mean, if you can do that off a potato, what can we do off our fucking supercomputer?
Right.
Right, exactly.
Right.
Yeah. So I don't know, man. And like a couple of the other guys that I watched, I'm putting less stock in them lately because
Somebody letting you down.
they're kind of America bad crowd. So
But that's necessary sometimes.
it is, but they're like, oh well, we shouldn't have like blah 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 blah, and it's like, well, if you look at Chinese cargo planes, they look awful like, and so that's not really a reason for us to stop developing new cargo planes.
Right.
So it's like, well, if we just let Taiwan have all the chips, then we'd have this like stable world. It was like, yeah,
You think that, huh?
You'd think that, yeah, but come on, man. So,
Well, you and I have discussed a certain set amount of phrases that, if you use these things or tout these things in any way, shape, or form, it's a quick way to get your opinion dismissed. And these guys aren't the type that say, no one is illegal on stolen land.
right. Yeah. So, it's like, yeah, I'm sorry. I just got here.
It's like, I get it, but there's a lot of people that have to show me deeds before I worry about
right.
it.
This is going to take a lot of lawyers to figure this out.
Yeah. And here's the thing is tribal lawyers work like 2 days a week. And slowly at that.
Man, that's a thing that I've been looking into. Not tribal lawyers, but like this whole idea that like 92% of federal employees
Aren't at the office?
that just tripped my weird radar. So that can't be true. 92% of fucking TSA agents are not working remote. 92% of the military is not working remote.
Oh, okay, yeah. I guess.
Yeah, so there's this like weird like thing.
I don't know which things are exempt from that. Yeah, obviously,
exactly.
military makes perfect sense. Yeah, but all right. So what I can
92% of like fucking forest rangers like just zooming it in.
You got me.
Yeah, I don't know, man. Yeah.
So I guess I'd have to start with like, where are the federal employees here? Start with our own city. What are the federal employees that we have in this city?
We probably got like 10 FBI guys.
All right.
Maybe like a dozen Forest Service guys. Beyond that, like military dudes.
It would have to be military dudes, right?
And they're obviously going in the office. So
I'll bet you there are some. I'll bet you there are some military people that can kind of telecommute sometimes, but I guarantee you they're on like a 50-50 or something like that.
if even that. So
Yeah.
like my brother's a federal contractor and he is like mission essential. He never gets remote days.
Right.
So like there's just like this like okay, who the fuck is working in the federal government who can remote in 4 days a week out of 5?
This is so what I can believe, this is when they go through and say, well, what is the usage of the buildings that we have, right?
Okay.
So
That I would believe.
absolutely,
Yeah.
right? Where they have, well, this is the building for this department, and 92% of this is not being used. So the first thing that I would look at is saying, like, well, if 92% is not being used, how can we bleed off that 8% and combine this somewhere else, right?
Okay.
Because you and I both know that anytime that you're paying for rent or anything like that,
Utilities, all that stuff.
yes, that's the first thing you can cut because, like, well, if I keep the workers. Now, I would also argue that if you have this kind of stuff going on, if the whole idea is basically saying get back to the office or you're getting bought out with 8 months' pay, right? I would presume that these people are not being replaced. I would presume that the major focus on this is to shave out redundancy. And I could argue, I could totally see the thing, because when it comes into this, like, there's probably like excess. I'll bet you there's like VA shit that is triple redundant.
yeah,
I'll bet you there's like TRICARE shit that is paperwork stuff. All the stuff, all the divisions, like there's probably a ton of people like in Medicare that are
just processing payments at home and stuff.
Yep.
Yeah, okay.
Yep. I can guarantee you there's probably a ton of people on that, and that's where most of that goes. We don't have any of that shit here. We have the military bases.
Correct.
And these are the people like, you can't remote into Afghanistan. They need you shooting the guns.
So I need to man the joysticks and
Right.
drop bombs. Yeah.
That dude can remote in.
Yeah.
He's taking the screenshot that says he's
got
got
it on a fucking Xbox controller.
if he sent in the screenshot that
Pew,
says
pew, 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 pew.
these are my download and upload speeds, then you know that's
keep my
okay.
KDD up.
Yep. Then yeah, that's fine.
But no, those aren't those guys. So yeah. So I don't know. I just seen that like statistic floated out
it's
quite a bit
crazy.
or last week. It's just it's one of those things, and like every time I see like a statistic on Twitter in particular,
Yeah.
it's got to kind of pass a sniff test with me, and that one just doesn't pass because like most federal workers are going to work for the fucking Department of Fatherland Security.
Right. Right.
Or the military. So, okay, I can see it that IRS agents are remoting in. Okay, fine.
Yeah.
All right, so cool. You know, you're going through audits on your home machine with your dog next to you. Totally cool. Okay. You know, you don't have to be in the office with the green visor every single day.
Right.
Totally cool. But that's not that many guys. So
They make it sound like
they
it's
make
a
it
lot.
sound like it's a shitload. So, but it just it can't be like your forest rangers, your like your guys in the tower. They're not remoting in, you know, to like vector traffic into our local airport.
They better not be.
Well, yeah, fuck yeah.
That's a problem.
So yeah, exactly. Yeah, you better have your browser updated.
I have
There's just something weird about this, man.
I have an easier time believing, like a lot of the excesses that they're talking about. I would be more inclined to believe on the individual state levels. You know, where it comes to
Oh, absolutely.
yeah, you can see that too when you talk
Totally.
about like places that still have like fucking motor pools and stuff, where it's like, oh my, you could do this with half the guys.
Oh yeah,
or,
absolutely.
you know, shit like that, or you and I both. And you know what? This may be where I'm fucking up right here. Is when it comes to those people that are, you and I saw this when you look at the admin tree of District 11, right?
Oh, it's bananas. Half
So-
those guys could work at home.
Half those guys could not work at all. This is the thing is
Right, yeah.
So
Yeah, you're right.
this is for me saying that there's not an admin tree in federal branches as well, right? And that's
Okay, I got you.
that I might understand, because you say like, well, it seems like our essential people that actually day-to-day operations are necessary are here, right?
Right.
So when it comes to the admin jobs that people need, that
But
they
the
can't
HR
know,
lady is not. Yeah.
one of them is.
Right. Yeah.
So the boss bitch is going to be there, right?
Right.
Because she's got to kick ass and make sure all that other stuff.
Correct.
But she's going to have a team of like 3 or 4 people that are picking off stuff, you know.
Same thing with auditors and stuff.
Yup.
Yeah.
Yup.
Okay.
So if you're going down the main branch of like, well, who's never here? Okay, this
It's
is
the
probably where it
person you
goes.
see once a month.
Yup.
Yeah.
Yup.
Okay.
So
Makes sense.
that I could believe. And if the whole point here is to give them an ultimatum of, if you really want this job, right? If you really actually like this job, come into work. If not,
Right.
here's 8 months worth of salary. We're getting rid of your position.
Well, and that's one of the things. If he peels back, well, like he did today with federal grants and stuff like that, you know, I mean, that's low hanging fruit for him to actually say, like, yep, we're going to do this instead.
Hey, dude, if you
Yeah.
find, like, literally where they found $50 million for condoms in Gaza, you slash them.
Correct. Yeah, exactly. Yeah.
And you say, hey, look what I fucking found in here.
Dude, what the fuck is going on with that place?
Who knows?
Yeah. Okay.
knows?
It's just got completely scooched off the front burner.
Yeah, 2 days went by, Patrick. What are we supposed to do? I mean, this
Yeah,
is,
exactly. Yeah.
I just don't feel like old politics used to work this fast. I feel like,
It's been exciting just because of that.
no.
Yeah, he was like, yeah, I cleaned it out. And then like 2 days later, it's like, oh my God, my federal grants. Brr. You know, yeah.
Well, this is the crazy thing is you go from people here in this country storming the streets every day saying, like, we need a ceasefire. Now there is a ceasefire. Some hostages are going back in exchanges. Are we done?
Dude,
It doesn't feel like it's done.
I watched some of the interviews from them. They are fucking heartbreaking. So, yeah, it's ugly, man. It's terrifying.
It makes it difficult to maintain objectivity in a conflict that's not yours.
Correct. Yeah.
To me, it becomes pretty easy to say, you're the bad guys.
Yeah, flatten it and bulldoze the rubble in the
Correct.
sea. Yeah.
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 You and your ideas and the land that you lived on, flatten them, salt it, never come back.
So turn it into resorts.
Yeah, pretty much.
Yeah, I know. Yeah. So I've been trying to keep up with that, but it's just like the fucking fire hose. I would have never thought the fire hose would have widened by like 18 gauge after January 20th, but it has. So
You're thinking that things would actually like calm down, like people are
yep,
getting.
I was wrong.
So it's sort of like the week before Star Wars Episode 1 comes out. Nobody can shut up about this. And then the actual movie comes out. And all the hype just kind of, it's like, all right, this is fine. It's fine.
No,
Right.
no, it's the opposite.
This is
When's the
quite
next
the
movie?
opposite.
When's the next movie, man? Yeah, are you gonna make another movie?
Yeah.
Yeah. It's been a little bit bananas. So
I mean, there are certain things that
I mean, like national-wide stories that were like headline things like 4 or 5 weeks ago. Like the guys up in Aurora get cleaned out in a day, doesn't even hit the national news
it hit. It
for
didn't-
like 10 seconds.
It didn't hit any 3-letter national news.
Correct.
Right.
Yeah.
It hit the national news from other media. But I mean, this is the
It
thing.
got
Is,
cleaned out.
what are you supposed to? What are you supposed to do if you're ABC? How can you clean out people that ABC says doesn't exist?
Okay, yeah, fair.
Did Bill Murray and Dan Aykroyd and Ernie Hudson go in there and fucking vacuum out ghosts?
Throw it on a trap, right? Yeah,
Am I wrong? Because I mean, when you fact check these people, they say this at the debate. They say this isn't happening. This is like, well,
Yeah, so it's just a byline on local news.
yeah.
So
Yeah.
And it absolutely took them all down in a weekend. So
And that's the problem is, if you knew where they all were and they're rounding them up this fast,
correct.
why the fuck were they here this long?
I have no idea.
That's what I'm talking
Yeah,
about.
I don't know. So, but see, the thing is, the stream is just flowing so fast right now that nobody's going to face accountability for that. It's just done now, man. Okay, fine.
You know what?
Yeah.
Okay, that's
Yeah,
fine.
all right, cool. Yeah, water under the bridge, whatever.
I mean, I could also point to you, so the data shows that attempted migrant crossings are ridiculously low right now.
Yeah, absolutely. So you got 1 day, Jeff. You got 1 day of people crying at the border because they were 1 day away from their whatever hearing is.
Yeah.
Done. Gone.
It's not going to happen.
Not well. Yeah, no. And okay, so ABC packs up the cameras and goes on somewhere else. Yeah. So, but I mean, like legit. Yeah, there's probably people who are like actually waiting in an actual line. You know, whatever. So,
And my
got no sunlight on it, then okay, fine.
my understanding is that people will still be processed
Correct.
as they are supposed to be. But in terms, so the things that they've gotten sorted out here are like, look, we know where you are. We are going after these people first. Now, the interesting thing is, yeah, they are showing videos of what's the one where it's like, I've never seen the Home Depot this empty. Where
I haven't seen any of those yet.
where just dudes are like they've gone underground, right? Where they don't want to be found and shit.
I haven't
Like,
seen that.
hey, I get it. Well, you said this a long time ago. You said the problem isn't, the immigration, it's the fact that we don't crack down on the people doing the hiring. And you've always been right on that.
Well, yeah, we need to get like fucking e-verify.
That's the absolute
Yeah.
next step there is so if you're getting the bad folk out and you want to hit the next spot, now you have to hit the people that have been hiring these people.
Well, and that's what Mr. like fucking grumpy faced Irish dude has been doing.
Need to see some documentation.
Yeah, I need to
please.
see the documentation. Yeah. So, are you paying your taxes? So, yeah.
Nice place, want to keep it that way. Yeah, I got it.
Right. Yeah. Exactly. Yeah. So, well, no. I mean, that's simple, man. I mean, if you want to look at like the source for almost not human trafficking, and this is where I like really support the current administration on this stuff, because I did a couple deep dives into this. It is fucking terrible. So in terms of how much human trafficking, how much they cost, how much they like gouge these people for, and then mark them for a generation, and
Yep.
yeah, it's awful. Fucking shut that shit down, man.
And what they put those people through sometimes in terms of
Especially if you're a woman between the ages of like 8 and 40. Yeah.
Uh-huh.
So, no, this is not good, man. And so, yeah, Mr. Irish grumpy faced border czar has got my support.
Well, there are a few times where you find the exact right person for the job.
Correct, yes.
He has done everything on my list of what I'd want from this person, aside from like straight up.
Well, your droning program, yeah.
Well, he's one step away from good old Anakin's. I hate them. I hate
Kill the women, the children.
It's like, would you just admit you don't like these people? That's fine.
I have to go in and kill all the younglings. What I do?
Are they illegal?
Wait a minute. It's about to turn into a different movie here. Yeah.
Well, yeah, because there's so he has the limiter on. Okay, I understand, because I think to that question, if you were fully left to his own devices, he'd be like, "Of course, children, you dig a smaller hole, right?" And that's the
Come on, man. I don't think he's that bad.
no. That's what I'm saying is you need somebody with that kind of fire to not back down.
I'll kill you. I'll kill your family. I'll burn your house to the ground. No, come on, man. He's not like that.
No, but he's got the passion for it, right? That's the thing. Is he?
Well, I mean, as a law enforcement officer, I get it from his perspective, where he's seen he's like
The results of human trafficking?
Correct. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. So, And quite honestly, man, all the fights got out of the hard left. It is just it's deflated. So I mean, it's like Quentin, like halfway down the shark at this point in time. You know.
All right.
I mean, you got that little rubber knife, and that's
Yep.
you know. I mean, it just is.
Well, here's the problem, right? So when you basically run an entire campaign on hyperbole, you can't play the Hitler card twice. You've been playing it nonstop, right?
If we know all that you have is Hitler cards,
Right.
then we know how to play this.
So you can't turn around and say like, look at what he's done now. It's like, what do you mean what he's done now? He's doing exactly what he said he was going to. You can't like say, look at what this has turned into. And especially if you actually look at the poll numbers, he's up. His popularity rating is scooting up point by point every day.
Well, I did look at that yesterday. So with the whole like, you know, grants thing and stuff, it's down a little bit.
Was it? Because it was up 3 points the day before. But
Man, yeah, I mean, it's like polling, Jeff. We just
all right, fair enough.
depends on who you ask. We got to give it a little bit of time.
This was a CNN poll of all
Yeah, but I mean, oh my God, it's terrible. Rrr, watch our show. You know? So
Fair enough.
okay, yeah. You better get in right now. This sale ends this weekend.
Wow, man, that's the hard sell, huh?
It's a hard sell, man. So we'll
Are you
wait
going
and
to
see.
tell me there's limited quantities? Too?
Limited quantities?
Oh,
Better get in right now, man. I mean, we only have 5 warranties left, so you better buy one. Right
Jesus Christ! How many per customer?
now. One. So, but that's the point, man.
Yeah.
I mean, you know, like, there's a couple other things that are going on that are pretty interesting that they're not paying attention to. So, you know,
So, all right.
dude, like, Ukraine is a big fucking deal. So he has been punching fucking Putin all week. So you don't see this in the news. So,
I did ask about that.
oh yeah, you have inside Russian sources.
So,
So let me put out what I've heard, and you can validate them.
okay.
So apparently, Russian media is going fucking apeshit because their guy is not the guy they thought that they thought he was.
Yeah.
Okay, all right.
All right. That comment that slipped over my head that you caught about
The World War II one.
evidently that has been quite the shitstorm.
Okay.
Just because I didn't notice it doesn't mean that they didn't pick up.
You talking about my team?
To go back to the RMK situation, it was the motherfucker said what? Fucking helped us do what?
Right. Okay.
Helped you?
Help you? I bought out you. You know. Yeah.
And evidently it's causing a stir, which listen, I can't this is the problem. I can't say whether that was the full intent. The dude talks so much shit every single day. There's
Yeah. Okay. Yeah.
so here's the thing. Let me go back to the Jimmy Carter funeral, okay?
Okay.
Barack Obama and Donald Trump talked mad shit about each other nonstop, right? During
yeah.
that last section of the election, right?
Oh yeah. Totally.
But they're sitting next to each other,
Just ribbing it up. Yeah.
like he's just kind of like they're talking, and you can look at him. It's just like it's like, do we get the big sandwiches? Do we have to, it's like.
You want an extra cheese on your pizza? I know a great place.
Exactly. It's like, you want to get out of here and get something good to eat?
Yeah.
It's just going to have a bunch of fucking vegetarian voodoo shit here. It's Jimmy Carter's
What are you
funeral.
doing later this afternoon? So let's go burn some coal.
And they're just laughing at each other, right? And this is the same thing is, I know Trump and Putin have a relationship, right? They have a, like, not a, I don't think they just like call and be like, "What you doing?" I think there's,
No,
but
it's
they know each other. There's
yeah, it's like let's go beat up a cat, George.
right,
Yeah,
right.
we know who the little guy is.
They're aware of each other. They've met. They've talked. You know, I don't know if it's the same kind of level, or if this is just the kind of like ribbing that you do, like with somebody that you know, because you're like, yes, I am trying to provoke you. I'm throwing chum in the water. Bite.
Well, that dude totally bad.
Did he?
I don't know, man. I mean, like obviously his media has, so
Okay.
I think like Putin's just realizing how small of a fish he is.
That he does not like that.
He does not like that, and I don't think the
Yeah.
Russians like that either. But you know, like even today, or I guess it was yesterday, even on American media, they're like, "Oh, well, Ukraine's lost 1/5 of its country." I was like, "Well, that counts Crimea.
Right.
You guys haven't been able to push in more than 30 kilometers in the rest of the country, and you've lost 1 million dudes doing it." Eventually, there's just like physics involved, man.
That's
Eventually,
exactly it. Yeah.
eventually you're gonna realize that, and I think Donald Trump knows exactly where he stands on this. He's like, knock that shit off. So we know you're not gonna do this. We're not gonna do that either. Just be fucking cool. So you're not marching to fucking Berlin, bro.
Right.
Yeah,
Right.
I don't know.
It's kind of like a look, I'm going to give you a month, and what I want you to do is think of a way to get out of this gracefully. Tell yourself whatever story you need to tell yourself.
Yeah.
Right.
Tell them whatever you need to tell them. Yeah.
Right. Come up with something. Right. Make it look glorious. Whatever. And when you come up with that idea, I'll co-sign on it. Right.
Yes. Yeah. Exactly. I think that's exactly what he's trying to do.
And I imagine there's a piece of that where he's saying like, now I have a job to do, and you have a job to do. So I'm going to keep calling you names.
And get to it. Yeah. If you're that guy who keeps showing up 5 minutes late, I'm going to call you late minute Charlie.
Right. Now, what you also need to know is this is a month with 31 days. So you get 31 days. But on day 32,
Right. Yeah. The month's over.
I mean, then you owe me the whole thing and the interest.
Yeah.
Right? So I imagine that there's something in there saying like, all right, so consequences begin on this day. Start constructing the lie that's going to get you out of this. Let's put an end to this to where everybody looks like a hero in this process.
Everything's cool. Yeah. We're all winners. Yeah.
All winners.
Yeah. You know, I read a thing the other day that he was doing that with the whole Greenland thing because Denmark is the lowest contributing member of NATO. Once I read that, I was like, okay.
That doesn't surprise me one
At all.
bit.
At all. And you know who's number 2?
Huh.
Lowest?
No.
Yes, Jeff.
Number 2?
Number 2 lowest contributing member to NATO.
France.
Nope.
No.
No, they're way high.
Actually, they would be, wouldn't they?
Yeah.
Because they have military hardware, too.
Well, and they have nukes, but
Yeah, that's true.
Number
that would
two.
also go for Great
Number
Britain,
two.
too.
number 2. Just
Can't
ask
be
their,
Germany.
Nope. Just ask their prime minister.
What?
Yep. Not too long ago.
Wait,
In NATO.
in Belarus?
Nope. Number 2, lowest contributing member of their military to NATO.
Who?
In Denmark.
Who is it?
All right, so let's see. That's south. That's north.
Okay.
They're up there.
Oh, are we talking about like Sweden or
Way closer. Talking about making them our 51st, 52nd, and 57th state. Canada.
okay, well, I'm picturing the wrong spot. I'm like,
Yeah.
holy shit.
Canada's military is nothing. They've taken 15 years and pared it down to bare bones. They're flying planes for the 1970s still around. They don't carry nukes.
Oh.
Yeah.
What do they call? It's the guys that ruin a union. It's the guys that are
Slackers.
Are in the union, but they don't pay dues.
Oh, yeah, there's a term for that. But that's those.
I believe those are free riders, right?
Yeah, free riders. So I think we had a dirtier term for them. I can't remember what it was.
I guarantee you did.
Yeah, we did.
Yeah. But I believe if you go to any kind of like official pro-union page or something like that, they will talk about quote-unquote free riders.
Right, yes.
Okay.
Not quite scabs, so...
Not scabs, no. And you're
That's
right,
different.
there is a far more
different
derogatory term.
There is.
And it's ugly. It's not it's not 100% on the nose, but it's clear what it means.
Yeah, but it's clear who Donald Trump has been calling out.
Right.
Yeah.
Right.
So it's like, yeah, Greenland looks great. We'll take care of it. Or you can. You can pick up your fucking shit.
Dude, I can't.
So,
The criticisms that he levied upon Canada are absolutely true. Canada has the things that Canada benefits from with us are just completely at our discretion, right?
they are, but I mean, like most Canadians, you know, there's no animosity there. But
No.
he's really good about like, hey,
Chip in.
yeah, exactly.
Right,
Yeah.
right.
You know, I mean, what are you guys doing? So, you know.
So here's this is the part of Trump's policy that makes absolute sense here, right? So if you go out there and say, if part of this, and this was part of his agenda last time around, is you're right. He's looking at, hey, these people don't chip in. These people don't chip in. These people don't chip in. Now, one of the things that you cannot do, right? This is that whole, you guys make a collective $250,000. You're $80,000 in debt. You go to Disneyland every 2 weeks. Right?
That's exactly it. Yes.
You cannot criticize and get on people's asses about not chipping in unless you're actually at home scraping out the excess.
Correct.
Right?
Yeah.
So if this is a component of that and saying like, hey, we do two things here. Now, you and I have both, gone through this here. It's like life becomes difficult when you're in two modes of make a dollar and save a dime. If you're doing both, life gets shitty because then you're like, it's been a tough day at work.
I know,
I'd
man.
really love to get tacos, or it's
I
like
really want KFC bucket.
KFC bucket, or just like I don't want to drink Miller High Life, or like like Natty Light or something. It's like, what a good beer, but you're trying to save a dime while making an extra buck. You're working extra hard and cutting back. It sucks.
Yeah, but when you're working 20 hours a week and bitching about the same thing.
Now we're talking.
There we go. Yeah, yeah.
And that's when you say, do I have people at the office putting in 20 hours of work and getting paid for 40? Do I have?
Correct.
Right. And so if you're going to clean house on this, if you're going to say like, well, again, this was the shit where the other day there was what was the brag? It was like, we found $180 million in the first day. It was like, oh, okay, that's one Ukraine payment. This is the component of this. Like, okay, you know what? This is the thing, you've pointed out to me at times, because you're right. When you look at the big number, you're like, Jeffrey, that's nothing. That's a tiny, you're still thinking about your income, not the
Right.
country's
$180
income.
million in my income changes my life radically.
It changes the life of everyone you know radically.
Radically.
Yes.
Yeah.
Suddenly there's a Patrick endowment, right?
Oh, yeah, they put my name on the fucking building.
That's correct. You become a new player in state history. right?
It's my fucking Stratton.
Right.
You call it the L. Patrick Center.
Yeah, I was gonna say, like, chisel that name off that
Yeah.
fucking clock and
Yeah.
put mine up there,
mine
okay?
up there.
Get those terrorists off there and
Right.
right. But that being said, it's the death of a thousand paper cuts. You're like, you chop down a tree with a lot of little cuts, not just swinging for the fences on all things.
Correct.
Like, okay, got it. Got it.
Yeah, no, I mean, you got to find those like little wins like that, but I mean, and you look at the reverse side where you have countries in NATO who've whittled down, like in Desert Storm, Britain was able to field 2 full divisions.
That's wild.
One of them was armored.
Yeah.
They can't even put up a battalion now, and so it's been 30 years where they chop down like little bits here and there, and now it's like, oh shit, yeah, you got this malevolent, force over here,
Right.
right. And what are we going to do? We're going to underwrite loans. Okay, cool. So how about ammo?
Right. Right.
Ammo is good. Dollars are fine, but ammo is better right now.
Exactly. Yeah. It's like, well, Germany's like, we got like factories like H&K shit. Do you want it? Like, well, yeah.
Yeah.
Take it.
Yes, please. Yeah.
We would also like dudes to fire said firearms and stuff.
Well, yeah, but I mean, like guns are good too. So
Right.
I mean, it's just like one of those things, and Trump is right to call them out for that over the last like 8 years. It's just we'll have to see, man. I mean, we're on the cusp, and who knows what a cusp means? It might mean like next week. It might mean 5 years. It might mean 10
Right.
years.
Right.
But we're gonna go through 1991 again with Russia, so that might be really good.
Could be.
Could be really good.
Could be.
Could be very, very bad. So
Could be.
yeah, but it's all hinging on one fucking dude.
Right.
Yeah. So it's crazy.
Because Russia is in a terrible, terrible spot. I mean, if you want to take a look at... I'm trying to think of a franchise, like a sports franchise that fell off as hard as Russia did. To be at the point where... Think about this, too, because remember...
They almost went to 4 Super Bowls and lost all.
Here's what I'm saying. So
It might be the Bills.
here's the thing is, all right. So when it comes to Russia and this all like this was I got a little refresher on this here when shit happened when and stuff like that, but you go from a position where you're so dominant they've literally divided the earth into 3 worlds. That one, and the people that are so shitty they don't apply to
The
either
others,
one,
yeah,
right?
yeah.
That you didn't want. It's like
It's applicant A, applicant B, and applicants.
right. And you're saying like, well, why don't they count? I'm like, do you want to send a whole bunch of troops to the Congo? Because I don't. And that's the truth of it. So if you're down to one of 2 superpowers, right? And it's not that long ago, right? To be
Living
in the
memory.
position, to be in the position where you're in, and you say like, we used to fight the entire West, right? That was the enemy, was the West, right? To be in the position where you're like, we're not even the most dominant force on this continent.
Oh, not even close. And see, that's the thing. I've seen this a little bit lately. Is like, okay, so Russia collapses. What does China take from them? That's where all the oil is.
In theory, anything they can get their hands on, but that's
Maybe.
also
I don't know, man.
there's also a component of, well, that's not yours. Right?
What are you going to do about it? Right.
That's the problem.
that's the
yes,
problem,
is
yeah.
I mean, yeah. in theory, if Russia collapses, what it would do is it would break into the states. There would still be there would be a place that would be whatever you'd call the Rus, whatever that is. That would still be a component.
Yeah,
of
that
it.
goes from like Belarus to the Urals.
Right.
The rest of it,
What happens to Siberia, where all that
who the fuck knows,
stuff
man?
is? Like,
Yeah.
well, and then at that point, Ukraine becomes super rich because they have what it takes to actually get the shit out of their ground right now.
Well, and they've already said that, like, I mean, Zelensky was floating this, like, just last week. It was like, hey, all right, so Europe, you guys don't want to make arms, arm us.
Yeah.
We'll be the Eastern Bastion.
Yeah.
We'll be the military power on the East. Okay. I mean, Poland could take Moscow in a week if they wanted to.
Yeah, they've been
buying Korean tanks, man. Korean tanks are fucking badass, by the way.
Southern tanks, I presume.
Oh yeah. Oh, they're phenomenal.
I was like, wait, are they buying them from South Korea or Best Korea? I'm like,
South Korea or West Korea?
hey, that's their title. That's not mine.
West Korea takes, the Ayatollah can't have it. Nobody can.
Well, because evidently, like, Poland was in the position. They're like, oh shit, we're next. So they've been like bolstering for a while.
They've been spending a lot of money on military.
So much to the point where you're right. You're like, well, actually, we have enough now where, yeah.
Yeah. So they're just waiting for Belarus to do something. And they're like, well, you're going to be called East Poland soon.
At the top of it, too, it's not like Poland has great memories of Russia.
They're all bad, Jeff.
And have been for a while, yes. Yeah, this shit goes deep.
We'll see. I think DJT will be able to actually navigate quite a bit of this. So
Yeah, something...
I think he'll be able to navigate quite a bit of this. So
Here's this is, again, just to go into this here, where the ceasefire with the Palestinians and the Israelis, when it happened, was not a coincidence.
no, it
That
wasn't.
was not something organized by the Biden administration. I can promise you that.
Netanyahu cannot stand without Trump's support. He knows that. Yeah.
And so, as much as they wanted to take credit for it in those last couple of days that he was there, it had fucking nothing to do with him.
Nope.
Donald Trump was making...
He didn't even tee up the ball. Nope.
Nope. And
He was like, no, I'm playing third green.
so the phone calls have been made for like the past, 2 months before the man even started on day one. So I know that there's a lot of people who know what their place is, as soon as shit started. I understand there's a little bit of grease going on in Panama where they're saying, well, we don't want to give this back. All right.
Dude, that's just Marco Rubio, like, jetting all over the place now and just absolutely kicking ass and taking names. So, I mean, he's got the full backing of his president. So, I mean, he met with Canada's foreign minister today, if I'm not mistaken.
Did he?
Or maybe it was yesterday.
This week.
Yeah, whatever.
Yeah, recently.
Yeah, okay.
Yeah.
So, fine. You guys aren't going to be at 52nd through 58th state.
Right.
All right.
Right.
So, but you're going to do this. All right. If you don't like this, then you are going to be states.
Okay.
Like everybody's freaking out about that. I was like, oh, are we going to invade Canada and Denmark Norway Greenland? It's like, no. We're just going to ask you if you want to be a part of the United States. And most of y'all probably fucking say yes.
Do a volunteer. Yeah. I know.
Volunteer. And same thing with like Panama. So.
Well, and here's the...
And it's just a thing. I mean, like the whole Colombia thing last week, he went in and kicked somebody's teeth in. That guy apologized. Everybody saw him do that.
Right.
And so now we're cool. So
And he didn't take a victory lap.
oh
He was
no.
just-
He was like, yeah, that's cool, guys. Yeah, you send me your plane.
What happened was we came to an agreement like gentlemen. That's
In
how things go.
29 minutes.
That's what I'm talking about. It's like,
Fucking hilarious, dude.
and it's not. Here's the thing. It's not like I love the idea of my president over here just flexing muscle on everybody, around the globe. But here's the thing: is there is a component to this where if you've been letting people walk on you, which is really what's been going on here, is if you've been letting people walk on you for this long, there is a time when you have to go out there and say, like, fellas.
Yeah, no.
I have to eat a few of you so you know to be afraid of me.
Yeah.
You understand this, right? Like, so...
I don't even have to eat any. I just have to take a bite out of you, you know?
Well, no. Guys, you know who I am. I'm a dragon. I've been sleeping on this gold for a while. It's very comfortable. And I'm okay with a couple of you dickheads coming by and like, I got one over on him, right? You come in there, like, we play a little game of riddles. You walk off with some of my treasure. All's fair.
It's all fine.
But when a ton of you start doing this, I got to eat some of you.
Right. Yeah. Right, yeah. Otherwise, I have to burn down the village. Oh, and then nobody wants that. Yeah.
Even if you win, guys, it's a battle of 5 armies. 5.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's its own separate movie, guys. Yeah, so it's kind of. I mean, that's
like graboids.
You got into a bad place when you're in graboids territory, dude.
Yeah.
No, so there's a piece of this that yes, the big concern that I have is like, I didn't know that you could do this much. That's my concern is, number one, if you can do this much, that's a problem. If you can do this uncontested. Number two, you can have all this undone by the person that follows.
Well, we'll see what sticks.
That's the thing. I don't think
we'll see what sticks. I just like looking at the overall, and I cannot catch up on it, man. There's just so much stuff. Nobody cares that it's called the Gulf of America. We're not going to go through every school and scrub that off every globe out there. You know,
that's the lowest of low-hanging fruit.
I get it, but like so many people jumped on that.
Yeah,
and I mean, that's the whole thing. It's just like throwing out like if you have a pack of dogs, most of them like meat. Every now and then, a couple of them just like rawhide bone.
Yes.
You know, and so let them go chew on that. You know, it's totally fine. All right. So the other ones get meat.
Well, true to form, yes. If you're going to sneak by the guard dogs, that's why you brought that steak with you.
That's exactly what it is.
And so he threw it out
there. It might be made out of rubber. Yeah, you know, but some of them are going to fall for it. You know.
And the right people jumped right on that thing, and
totally
they're like,
"This is totally good." Yeah,
it's like, I'll bet you Jon Stewart makes a joke about this. Oh, there he goes.
Yep. Oh, yep. That steak squeaks.
Okay. Now, while you guys were over there eating the toy, okay, I just kicked transgender people out of the military. You see what I'm saying?
I get that one. I still think that one's a little bit of a rubber steak. Because you're probably talking about a couple hundred dudes. Okay. The big one is the rollback of
the COVID people come back.
Well, actually, I disagree with that one. So I get it. I get it. You know, okay. So, but like you just let 4,000 dudes back in the military who patently disobeyed orders. Okay.
All right. So here's the thing. Your dad and my dad
would have taken the fucking shot.
Well, they would have taken the shot. Yeah. And if you look at their shot records, if you remember the old ones with
they pumped them full of fucking mercury and shit. Yeah. So
well, if you unfold that fucking like McDonald's you know what I'm talking about. It's like a placemat. And
it's got X's and O's on it.
You've seen it, man. You open it up here, and it's got little writing in a couple of places, and then like 61 stamps. Correct. Right? Yeah. 61 stamps with different kinds of like eagles and all these other shit saying that like you have been pumped full of shit to go to any nation on this planet. Yeah. It's so much to the point where I asked like the blood guys, they're like, what would disqualify you from giving blood? It's like, have you been here, or here?
Have you been in the military?
It's like, you just named like 3 places my dad went. He's like, yeah, we ain't taking his blood.
No.
Yeah.
It's poisonous. Yeah.
Yeah.
All right, so I get that one. That's a bone to throw. The big one is actually like decoupling affirmative action from any form of federal hiring. That is a big fucking deal, especially.
You said the implications are huge too.
The implications of that are enormous. So, and it just passed away with like barely a whisper. So, but you got to understand that all the diversity training, sexual harassment training, all that shit over the years has been driven by the fact that so many companies, everything from fucking Walmart to Amazon to Lockheed Martin, of course, you know, they all have to conform to that because they enjoy federal contracts.
Right.
Now that that's off the books, you're going to see a whole bunch of companies who are going to find a whole shitload of cost savings over the next 4 years. And let alone if you get another, if JD Vance gets in after that and actually doesn't rescind that policy, then it becomes law, basically, you know, where it's like, no, you can't do this. And that all stems from that Supreme Court case 2 years ago where they shut down affirmative action. So...
Oh, the Harvard. Yeah.
Well, it's not even the Harvard one. It was University of Michigan and...
Oh, in California.
California. Yeah. Yeah, the UC system. Yeah.
But also Harvard. That was
the first one, and Harvard basically said, "Ooh, we're a private institution. We can do what we want." Okay, but the fact that those two state universities were subjected to that is a watershed, a legit watershed kind of moment. So, and that one, like, it went by. It was like, oh yeah, we knew he was going to do that. I was like, fast forward that tape 10 years. Yeah. So that's a big fucking deal. So, you know, and I mean, like, some of it, like, and I think actually, if it stands, the federal employee buyout one is also going to be a big fucking deal. So, because you're going to get a lot of slough out of the system there. And then he throws a hiring freeze on top of it. Yeah. So, you know, that one's going to be a big fucking deal too. And so, yeah, I get it, you know, getting DI and then transgender, you know, stuff like that out of the military. Okay, fine. All right, whatever.
You're right. There's like 25 of you.
Exactly. Yeah, and it's not even that guy on TikTok in the Navy.
Right.
You know, whatever. Right. You know, I mean, it's not that big of a deal. So, I mean, they fucking flush people out of the military if they have eczema, let alone, like... let alone a major reconstructive surgery and many years of drugs.
Yeah.
So that's not going to be that big of a deal. But the diversity training and flushing the federal government from affirmative action, that is a big fucking deal. So, and notice nobody's really talking about it because it's in his purview to do it. So.
Well, okay, there's two... I would agree with you on that. Number one, you're right there. Number two is I don't think it's something that people want to attach their wagon to right
Absolutely
now.
Not.
Because there are private companies, lots of private companies have seen the way the wind is blowing, and they've been waiting for this
Private companies are way more sensitive to their bottom line than any federal agency ever. And so they're looking at it and they're like, wait a minute, our HR budget was 14% last year, and we're going to be able to cut it to 3%?
Yeah.
Shit, man. We just made our numbers for the year. Fuck this.
And we didn't sell a product. Yeah, it's just...
We didn't have to change nothing.
Yeah.
So, yeah.
Yeah, that's the thing is there... I can tell you there are a lot of people that have been waiting for the wind to blow this direction. And so many companies right now are happily shedding this shit. This was... So...
Oh, easy. If I was the CEO of a company, this is an easy target. It was like, wait a minute, all those mandatory trainings and like my 14-person HR staff, which was like running around my company looking for racism that didn't exist.
Because when they didn't find some, they made it up.
Yeah, exactly. It was like, no. Yeah, this is way easy. So thank you. I went from 1.2% margin to 1.9.
And I didn't do nothing.
I didn't do nothing.
I made the office like I made it a lot easier for everyone to breathe. Well, actually,
yeah, that's true.
So this was something they were talking about here. This is where like the games industry comes in, right? I don't know if you saw this shit the other day where they did the demographics of what the breakdown of what the games industry is.
Yeah, but I did look into that a little bit. So tell me what you're thinking here.
Well, just in terms of what representative population actually means.
Okay, I don't know where you're going with this.
Well, so within the I'll just talk about like the Dragon Age situation.
Okay, that might be an outlier, but sure.
Okay. Well, so here's the thing.
Yeah.
They announced their numbers and they failed to meet even half of their sales target.
Yeah, I did see that.
Okay.
Yeah.
Now, the lead person in charge was, of course, and there was, the thing was plagued with transgenderism crap.
Yeah, it was.
And the lead person, of course, was transgender. And what
I
they
didn't
did,
know that.
why wouldn't they be? But
Yeah.
but that's the thing is, so when they broke down the demographics of what the game industry is like, and in terms of developers and stuff like this, right? Nearly 25% of the entire population in that area identifies as LGBT plus.
Oh, okay. I didn't see that.
Right? Whereas in the regular population, it's at like 6% generously.
If that.
Generously.
Yeah, if that.
Okay? That's where you talk about the from day to day, you can identify as something different, right? But if you're talking about if the general population is at 6%, you have 25% this, right?
Yeah, so it's concentrated there. Yeah.
Well, it's concentrated there. And the other thing that's going to happen is if you have that kind of representation, you're going to see your audience as, well, what are they mad about?
Yeah, no, I get that. Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
And so there's a big blowback where it's like, well, the people you're selling to don't match the perspective of what you've been hiring. And if you're telling me, right, this is the thing is, if you're telling me that in this crowd, right, where the people that typically want to get in this business come from that industry, like I can tell you their breakdown, it's the same breakdown of people that want to make movies. It's mostly white guys. If you're telling me, right, that your representation of pulling the most qualified people was not contingent upon their box checking, you're lying.
Okay. Yeah, I'll concede that, but I did look into some of the other statistics on this one, and so yes, if you have a game studio that has a particular ideology and is trying to enforce that ideology upon an audience, and they get blowback from it, fine, that's what you get. Okay. The one thing that I was curious about, and we mentioned this like 2 weeks ago. All right. So are you talking about gender breakdown on games?
Yes.
Most of them are artists. And so
That was that. Yeah.
Most of your female
Yep.
like developers are artists. So, which is great. I mean, that's fine. Okay. But like if, you have like a game studio that has a dev team, is particularly an executive dev team that has a particular and this is true in Hollywood too, and is trying to dictate some kind of whatever ideology
Right.
on its audience, and then they get blowback on the game from it. Okay, fine. All right. So, but I hadn't really realized that games are one of the few places where artists can actually still go and make a decent living.
True.
So yeah, I hadn't really realized that. And if you actually take a look at your breakdown on art students, they're about 60-40 men to women, or women to men.
Yep.
Yeah. And so it's all right, great. And they got jobs, and stuff like that, but I mean, unfortunately AI is going to murder that off pretty soon, man.
In both fields too. I mean, here's the thing is if you have the department that is basically like, so the artist gives this to the devs and the devs turn this into game, right?
Correct.
It's going to be, well, this step is about to be turned from 6 people to 1.
Exactly. Yeah.
Then this one is going to get turned from 15 people to 5
3.
or 3, right?
Yeah.
And you know what? All right. So here's the thing. That being said, cost-cutting measures within creative enterprises do lead generally to more truth in artistic vision. That much.
Well,
I
yeah,
can say.
because you pull the revenue from it. Yeah,
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Right, because if you pull the cost out, right, the risk lowers, and
Correct. You can do crazier things.
that's
Yeah.
creatively a good thing. right?
Well, and the creative arts have always been that way. So it's just we're
So,
going to
like,
see it again here, and dude, the next couple of years are going to be bananas on this stuff because like I've already been experimenting with ChatGPT to help me with my Python code. It does it for me.
But does it teach you how to do it?
Not entirely, but I'm learning how to teach ChatGPT to give me what I want. So,
Okay.
you know, I might not necessarily understand exactly what it's nesting together there. I mean, I can if I go through it line by line and I look at it, I'm like, oh, okay, all right, so this is this and not that. Got it.
Right.
Yeah, but I'm not familiar with this command, but you are ChatGPT.
Right.
So let me go Google that. It was like, oh, that's exactly what I was looking for. Thank
Okay.
you.
Well, that makes perfect sense. Then.
It does,
Okay.
but it takes me a little bit of time to like kind of step through that piece by piece where it can do it in a millisecond. So that's where we're going, man. And the same thing is true with art. I asked it to generate a whole bunch of fucking 16-bit art for me the other day, and it just barfed it right out.
All right. So here's the cool thing about that. So number one, there are people out there that are crack shots. They have really been working with this since day one, and they are exceptionally good at manipulating this to give them first what they want, right?
Okay.
Or something close to it. If you have that, and then you have the ability to jump in there and say, like, all right, I got something that is 96% of the way
It's workable.
there.
Yep.
Let me touch this up.
Yep.
Right? Here's the thing. Would you ever consider that person not an artist? Because
Oh no, totally.
this
Yeah.
is
Totally.
this is so stupid. The argument people are this like well, everything needs to say whether it was AI generated because I don't want to support it if it is. I'm like, okay, listen,
Good fucking luck, bro.
like,
Yeah.
so that by your own stupid definition,
Mm-hmm.
if you were actually a tactile artist,
Mm-hmm.
I would have to rage your things and say, there are tools I don't approve you using them.
Correct.
Give me your fucking French curve and go ahead and make
Yes.
all of these 3D angles the
Without
eyeballing way.
Yeah, no.
Like, good fucking luck.
It's like making sure that all of your milk was grass fed and all of your beef was like range grown. You know? And not eating anywhere else where those things didn't happen. You would have to go in and check every single restaurant, store, meal that you.
It's
no.
absurd. Yeah,
absurd.
yeah.
It's totally
to
absurd.
go in here and say, like, wow, you actually, like, look at this. This is amazing. It's like you actually proved the grand unified theory. Did you use a calculator on this somewhere?
Right, yeah, exactly.
I'm clean, man.
Well, I did, but did you get your answer?
Then this is trash.
Oh, okay, then you go take that off into the field and I'll keep making trash. Fuck off.
Right.
Yeah.
Right.
And that's the thing, man, is like any amount of like AI generated code or art or modeling or anything like that, if it looks good on the back end, people are going to appreciate it.
Yes.
Because you've taken the time to like quality control that and say, no, this is exactly what I want it to look like. I don't care if I didn't have to battlefield that calf, from the minute it came out of its mother's womb till, like 12 years later when you got to eat it.
Right.
Fuck off with that. So,
Agreed. And in the history of mankind, technological advancements have always created more jobs than they've ever
correct.
erased.
And finer art. So,
And this is, again, this is where the hypocrisy comes in because people, like, they come in here and they say, like, all right, so you're going to tell me that, all right, if there were a person who basically had their larynx, right, destroyed in a fire, right?
okay.
And there was a computer program, right, that helped them sing, right? That helped them modulate their voice and
Correct.
sing
Yep.
what they wanted to do. You would say, that's perfect.
Yeah.
So you're saying, all right, what if a person just can't normally sing? What if they need guidance on this? Should they be disallowed from using this tool?
Correct. Yeah. Yeah.
This is stupid.
Yeah.
You're taking technological options away from people.
Right.
Okay, so it's cool when it's when it's something that's helping somebody that's handicapped, But as a tool for other people, that's
Oh
ridiculous.
no, you're fully able, so yeah, you should be able to do this on your
Fucking
own.
ridiculous.
Yeah, fuck off.
Yeah,
Yeah,
so stupid.
yeah. No.
But it's so weird to see the people that had fucking 10-inch boners about technology 5 years ago are now the biggest Luddites on the planet because it's encroaching on what they consider their domain.
It's their job. Yeah. It was like, oh my god, I have to learn more stuff. I was like, okay.
You were okay telling all those guys manufacturing.
Yeah, I'm
Air
sorry.
conditioners.
Yeah, did you learn
Yeah.
how to like paint on like fucking Adobe? Go back to fucking oils. So
Uh-huh.
yeah, exactly. Yeah.
You were making fun of those auto workers that were losing their jobs.
Right,
was
learn the
okay.
code, bro.
Right.
It's like, well, wait a minute, ChatGPT goes better than me. So
Yeah.
no,
it's
I totally get it, man. I mean, I gotta tell you, like, so the programs that I'm going through to learn Python are great, and I mean, I'm learning a lot about structures and architecture and stuff like that.
That's cool.
But when it comes down to it, if I don't put a period in the right place or put the right curly braces on things,
Oh.
and it fucks my shit up, and I dump it in a chat GPT, and it's like, oh man, you forgot a curly brace here. It's like, thanks, bro. It doesn't make me less of a designer or a programmer at that point in time. It's just like, hey, help me out. So, and it's like, oh, here you go. It was like, thanks, man. I mean, come on, dude.
So one of my favorite stories about this, I can't remember which game it is on the PlayStation. It's a racing game. I may have told you about this.
Mm-hmm.
Where during the development phase, and this is something that a lot of times you'll do because you want to be able to see the performance. There's the FPS counter.
Sure,
in the upper
yeah,
left-hand corner.
yeah.
Okay, and they've had that the whole time to check performance, right? But the game is about to come out in like a week.
Okay.
So they say, all right, well, let's go ahead and do the cleanup here and get everything done.
Mm-hmm.
Take out the code. They say, take the FPS counter out of there, right? Now the game starts running like shit.
I think you did tell me the story, yeah.
And this is what's amazing. So, and in this last week, they're looking for like, where the fuck is the code problem that's causing this? Can't find it. So what they do in the last minute is they expand the resolution to push the FPS counter off the top of the screen, but it's still there if you can get to it, right? That's what, if you can take that same problem, throw that code into the machine that 10 people looked at, and it's like, you missed this period.
You miss a
bro.
period right here, dude.
Like,
yeah.
Jesus
It was like, yeah,
Christ.
you're compounding this. It was like, motherfuck. Yeah. Yeah.
I know.
Totally do it,
It's
man.
wacky. It's absolutely
It's just
wacky,
like doing your
but-
taxes. So like you didn't carry the one. It was like, oh wow, I get a refund now.
You're right. I didn't carry that one. I guess I should go to jail.
So I should go to jail. Yeah.
It's like,
I should just give the fuck up and let somebody else do my taxes.
no, that's okay. I kiss my fucking kids goodbye.
Bye, and I'm going to go to jail. I'm not going to get caught ducks on that pond.
But I still pull your fucking...
I still pull your fucking eyes out if you look at me that way. Yeah, no. All right, that's a story for a different time.
There you go, yeah.
All right, so thanks, George.
Yeah,
All right, I'm Pat.
I'm Jeffrey.
Hit the button.